Decision making. Deciding means choosing between alternatives. Decision making is a concept which represents a voluntary and conscious process of selection from among possible solutions for a given problem. Decision making results in a choice between different solutions for achieving a goal. Judgment is based upon a process involving a pilot's attitude to take and to evaluate risks by assessing the situation and making decisions. A good decision depends on the analysis of the situation. In decision making, the selection of a solution depends on objective and subjective criteria. The objective to be achieved, risks associated with each solution, and above all on the personality of the decision maker. The Decide model is based on a prescriptive generic model, taking into account the method which seems most likely to come up with a solution. The Decide model is the acronym of 6 particular activities needed in the decision-making process. D defines the problem. E establish the criteria. C consider all the alternatives. I identify the best alternative. D develop and implement a plan of action. And E evaluate and monitor the solution and feedback when necessary. DODA is a primary decision-making tool and stands for Diagnose, Options, Decide, Assign, Review. It captures the 5 key areas of any decision-making process. Rasmussen's model in problem solving. The transition from rule-based activities to a knowledge-based activity is determined by the unsuitability of known rules for the problem posed. When the application of a rule allows for the situation to be resolved, action returns to an automatic mode. Cockpit decision-making. Abilities to improve efficient decision-making in the cockpit. Ability to search and examine all available information regarding a situation. Ability to think ahead and specify alternative courses of action. Communicational skills and social competence. When a pilot is facing a problem during flight, they should take as much time as they need and is available to make up their mind. Crew decision-making is generally most efficient if all crew members concerned adapt their management style to meet the situational demands. The decision-making in emergency situations requires firstly distribution of tasks and crew coordination. Relieving the pressure of time. When faced with an anticipated period of time pressure, a strategy of preparing decisions should be adopted. In order to provide optimum human performance, it is advisable to establish strategies for planning, automating and managing resources in real time. The main strategies for adapting to time constraints: preparation of action, prioritization of tasks. Many pilots come up with methods to deal with situations so they don't have to think every time what they have to do. This has to be positively appreciated, for it increases consistency in action. The planning and anticipation of future actions and situations makes it possible to create a precise reference framework, avoid saturation of the cognitive system, activate knowledge which is considered necessary for the period to come. Pre-taught action plans may be said to ease access to information which may be necessary, sensitize and prepare for a possible situation to come, define a framework and a probable strategy for the encountered situation. Error sources and limits. Human decision-making biases. Personal experience tends to alter the perception of the risk of an event occurring. There is a natural tendency to want to confirm our decision even in the face of facts which contradict it. The group to which an individual belongs tends to influence the particular decision. Decision-making can be influenced by the following factors. People tend to conform to opinions expressed by a majority within the group they belong to. People more easily tend to select data which meet the expectations. Once a pilot has developed a certain way of thinking about a problem, he will probably find it difficult to get out of that way and to try a different interpretation of the data. The confirmation bias of decision-making is a tendency to ignore that information which indicates that a decision is poor. The assessment of risk in a particular situation will be based on subjective perception and evaluation of situational factors. Although the anticipation of possible events is a good attitude for pilots to acquire, it can sometimes lead to hazardous situations, i.e. mishearing the contents of a reply from an air traffic controller when a non-standard procedure was given, but a standard one was anticipated. Owing to great haste, we might bypass the analysis of the current actual situation in order to apply the decision prepared beforehand. The intention to become integrated into the team, to be recognized as the leader, or to avoid conflicts may lead to the attempt to agree on wrong decisions made by other crew members. Habits and routine can influence decision-making in a way that a tendency to select the most familiar solution first and foremost, sometimes to the detriment of achieving the best possible result. An excessive need for safety hampers severely pilot decision-making.